Well, hello, everybody. How do you like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, tonight we have a beautiful yet sensitive topic to share with you guys today.
Yes, we
And
do.
I'm just thankful for all of you guys for being here today.
I am too. I really appreciate everybody taking time. This is an opportunity to learn and to grow, to maybe apply some of these strategies. Tonight, we're going to talk about human trafficking. It's, yeah, a very tough subject for sure. Um, we were also going to play some of a video that I had done previously. Actually, what, back in 2020, October, I did a human trafficking panel with 7 or 9 different guests. I'm going to play a portion of that because it was about 4 hours worth of information, a ton of information. I'm going to play 2 sections at least of it today. I'm going to play the part with Jody Parr. She is a survivor of human trafficking. And it goes to show that you can achieve greatness if you want to, and you don't have to worry about the fact that, um, you know, we all make mistakes. This is a real deal. That doesn't make you a bad person for sure. Um, what we know is that you can enjoy your everyday life, and that's why we're here, right, Tamika?
That's exactly why we're here.
Yes. So I'm just trying to get myself organized. I apologize. I'm not 100% ready. But you know what? Better never, or better not to never do it. No, that's wrong.
Let's just
Okay.
get let's just get to exactly what we came here for, and that's to help you guys with some information about what's
Yeah.
going on today in this world globally when it comes down to human trafficking and how important it is to know the warning signs, to pay attention to what's going on with others, and also just to if you want to in the comments share your experiences and give us some information too that you know what's going on in your town, in your city,
Yeah,
maybe someone you know.
exactly. Because it's a worldwide problem. It most certainly is, and it's about it can be about prostitution, but it's more so what's happening these days. I think is people literally being snatched off the street and sold into slavery because that's what it is. It's modern day slavery, and that's a that's a difficult situation, and we certainly feel for everybody that might be in that situation. We want to help you be able to know that you can break free of this. There's a lot of things that are done, though, isn't there? We were talking about that prior to the show, Tamika, about how um, the traffickers will threaten you, your family, your children, your relatives if you ever leave, and they instill this fear factor and how that, um, well, with me, fear is a lack of faith, and but yet we're talking about people that have been their entire life has been threatened, and it's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. It's a difficult thing to make a decision about. Um, so
And
on
it's
this, go ahead.
that's true what you're saying. It's very difficult, especially for the family members of those that know that their family's been victims, and also for
Yeah,
the families and the futures of the survivors. Because it could be a trigger. Even having these kind of conversations. So I'm hoping that we do not cause any triggers with what
yeah,
we're talking about, but we're just bringing the awareness and keeping you up to date with what's going on today.
yeah, and that's what we want to do is to deal with today's situation. I have some statistics here. I'd like to share them with you, and then I
I
know
like.
that
Is that Monica? Monaco? How you doing, Monaco? Thank you for joining
Monaco.
us today in the comments.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Monaco. I really appreciate you. Okay, so I need to figure out. All right, this is going to be it. So a lot of people have been arrested for trafficking. Um, in areas around the world, because it's not just here in America, it's all around the world. And some countries are, if we think we have a problem, it's nothing compared to other countries. And that's the scary part. Um, so here's some statistics for you. The Europol Global Chain Operation, July 2025, 6-day international crackdown involving nearly 150 or 15,000 officers from 43 countries resulted in 158 arrests of human traffickers. The operation also identified 1,194 potential victims. Europol and Interpol crackdown in July. The coordinated effort led to the arrest of 150 suspects and safeguarded more than 1,000 victims. The targeted traffickers were involved in sexual exploitation and forced begging. Hmm, interesting. So, U.S. federal operations, because of course that's in Europe, U.S. federal operations, the Department of Justice, August 2025. Yeah, that's this month. Federal indictment charged 11 people with extensive sex trafficking of minors and young children along Los Angeles Figueroa corridor. ICE and Homeland Security investigations, July 2025. As a part of Operation Apex Predator, ICE in Newark arrested 4 child predators. Other operations led to a conviction in Laredo, Texas, and sentencing for the leader of a Mexican sex trafficking organization in New York. In May, 205 alleged child sex abuse offenders across the country during Operation Restore Justice. Now, that's a really important factor too. Is that on my previous show we had Jason Cisneros. He
Okay.
he helps people that are in a sex trafficking or a maybe a kidnap situation. It is kind of hush hush. He works for an organization. It is a dangerous job. He is going to be on this broadcast here very shortly, though. Um, you had a few things that you wanted to talk about as well, Mika.
Yeah, so I just had some warning signs that I wanted to share that people could be aware of.
Excellent.
Uh, Signs of human trafficking.
Yeah.
Someone who can't speak for themselves or being controlled by another person. That's a sign, a major sign. Signs of fear, anxiety, or being submissive, extremely submissive. Can't make any choices on their own. They always have to go to their significant other or someone close to them in order to make a decision, simple decisions sometimes as well. You see a person working long hours, but they never have any money to spend, but they're always at work every time that you see them, or anytime they talk about, but they never have any income. That's a definite sign. No access to IDs, their money, or personal belongings. Something to pay attention to with that as well. You know, because nowadays it's never good to be going anywhere without your ID. You never know what can happen to you. You need to be identified. Sudden changes in behavior, appearances, and in their living situations. Those are very crucial, and those signs there are to be paid attention to. I know that we have also information in case you suspect somebody who's being trafficked. We have the
Yes.
information that we put here on the screen for the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
Yeah, we do.
Um, or
So
you could
let's.
text help. You could text help to 233-733. You can always text that,
Yes.
and you can get some help.
So what I've found out since the last time I did this back in 2020, here we are in 2025. We still have a very serious problem. Monaco says he feels it's the most serious problem that we have in the world, and that is true. um, there were, I don't want to really get political at all, but what I want to say is that I've heard things. that there's 300 plus thousand children that had come across the border because you could. That's what they had done with the laws, and but they're missing. And so, where are they missing? You'd have to ask yourself, where are these children? I think we know the answer to that, and it's not a very pretty picture, is it, Kamika?
It's not at all. It's very alarming, you know. That's why we have to educate our children. We have to really educate our children and our children's children, because as they're growing older, this is something that's seeming to be normal to them. You know, we have so many young ladies in the jails right now today because they won't tell on their significant other. You know what I'm saying? As well as men too, because men get trafficked just as well as women do. You know, we have small children learning different activities and thinking that it's normal, and they're also going to be living in their lives in this future not knowing what to do. So we got to get as many people as we can to be aware. So I'm glad that we're talking about this tonight.
Yes, I know that you had said that you wanted to, and so I am glad too, and we're going to put some of this video on. It's really awesome as well. Um, it is a difficult thing when you start talking with your children because that's who we really need to protect, right? Because the children, um, we don't want to instill fear, and yet the traffickers do want to instill fear, most definitely. Life
They
and
want
limb.
to
Pardon?
encourage fearlessness, encourage speaking up. You know, let people know that hey, you have help, and
Yes,
there's different ways to ask for that help.
there is help. We can see I've been running this blue campaign. That is the Homeland Security. We want people to report suspected human trafficking. Um, there's only one way that things will change, and that's if we do something about it. If we don't do anything about it, well, guess what? Nothing will change. So, do we want to create an environment of fear? Well, no. But if it's an out of the ordinary situation, that's why there's these phone numbers. So you can reach out to them. You can explain what you're seeing, or, if you're a potential victim, we want you to become a survivor, not so much a victim, but a survivor. There's people that can help. We know people that can help. You can reach out to us. Let me put our banner up here with info at stephenrsmith.com. And I don't seem to see it here. But you can reach out to us at info at Stephen R. Smith. That's Stephen with a PH, by the way, .org. Send us your thoughts. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you want to hear maybe next time. But you know what? You can reach out to us. I know people. I know She Speaks Solutions. They're right here in Tampa. They're willing to help. They serve the underserved community in Tampa. Um, Rise of the Butterfly, Layla Love is such a wonderful, darling person. She I need to get back with her, and we just made kind of reconnected because that's what I'm doing here is reconnecting. And so in my reconnecting, I did reach out to Layla. She did start seeing my stuff. She is an artist. She has a foundation, Rise of the Butterfly. In the past, you could go to my website and then go straight to her website. She does art. I need to find out, well, is she in the Guggenheim Museum now? That would be really awesome. We know that she has a gallery in New York. Um, they want to help the survivors or the victims of human trafficking. He was talking about having a place in Hawaii. So we know some people that can help us. And if we don't know the answer, we probably know enough people that we could ask. how can we help? That's what we want to do is to help.
Yes, and if you don't have a telephone, if you don't have a telephone to call, reach out to different stores. Go into a store, reach out to a manager. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, I need some help and I don't have a phone because of X, Y, and Z, but this is what I'm going through. Can you help me? Can I use your phone? You know, you can go to a neighbor's house, you
Right.
know, get creative when you want to save your life. If you are going through this, if you
Right.
are going through this, you want to find a way out. Don't be scared. Trust the Lord. Trust in the fact that your future matters, your life matters,
It does
and
matter.
it's
It does matter, folks. You are special and you are unique and you are loved. You are made in my mind. Seriously, it's all about, yeah, we're made in the image of the Lord. I call him God. Um, you don't have to call him God. You can call him anything. But you know what? He does have, uh, he knew my story before I ever even was born. And I believe that because I believe the Bible and I've seen enough stuff to know that it's true. And even if it isn't true, I'm just going to try and live a good, happy life and be kind and considerate to others. We want you to know, though, speaking up is serious because there is fear involved. What are people going to think of me? What are they going to say about me? Are they going to wreck my life? Are they going to look down upon me? This, I would say, Tamika,
yes, I'm listening.
is it. I've learned not to own other people's opinions about me. Number one, um, because then I'm more interested in what they think. Because then my focus is directed in the wrong aspect. Because the fact is, we are loved and we are cared about. And when we recognize this, taking a step in fear is success. Period. Because if you don't take a step, nothing did change, but you take a step, and sometimes it might not turn out the way that we want. I'll just tell you that I know for me, being honest, yes, that cost me because the people that I was honest with didn't want to hear it. And when you tell somebody that doesn't want to hear it, you can do one or two things: take it personal or say, hey, okay, that's what they think. That's okay. I'm okay. Um, how do you feel about that part?
I feel that even when a person doesn't feel that the person believes them when they're speaking, try someone else. Most of
Right.
the time, a perfect stranger could be your biggest help. Most of the time,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes people see things happening right underneath their nose, right in plain sight, and they
Yeah.
care not to tend to that because
Right.
it's gonna cause shine on them, and they don't want to seem like, oh, I'm in the middle of this and I could have helped it, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Oh well, too bad, not sad. No matter
No,
who
not that.
is
Yeah.
involved, if you are in any situation that's dangerous, being trafficked or any situation that's dangerous, seek for help because help is out
Yes.
there.
Right. Right. So, yes, it is fearful. Yes, I think a person is very it's a sign of strength when we step past our fears and that we step into the unknown. And does it always work in our favor? Not necessarily, but you know what? That's just all part of the experience because life is here to experience. That's what we're supposed to do is and if we don't do it, then that to me is called complacency. And for me, complacency is a very bad spot. Something is not good is going to happen next when I am complacent because I'm just saying, "Oh yeah, well that's okay, and I'm just good." But the fact of the matter is, for myself, uh, I want to learn and I want to grow. I want to help people. I want the more that I can learn, the smarter I can become. When I was complacent, I was ready to just sit around and be a drunk, you know? And where would that have got me? It wouldn't have got me anywhere. So step into the fear, folks. Fear is saying, I don't care what happens. And that's what we need to do, is not care what happens and just do what's right. Um, okay, let me try and share this video because this is going to be pretty awesome, I'm sure. Um,
Okay.
all right, let me do this. We'll put them up here. This is from 2020 October. You can look at this video too. Now, do I have access to this stuff anymore? No. That's what happens when you lose your phone and your two-step. It's gone. And yeah, getting it back from Google is like being impossible. And so I gave up trying. That's why I said I'm restart. Um, let's go ahead and play this. This is the panel that I had. Layla Love right here, really awesome. You're going to hear tonight from Jody Parr and Jason Cisneros. He is the Bald Avenger. He is so awesome too, by the way, and he helps to rescue people. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Book, or you're watching on YouTube, we want you to share this video out. We also want you to know that we are raising money for Rise of the Butterfly this evening. You can go to the LWN Live with Nature Foundation .org/donate and donate some money, and we can start helping people. But tonight we're going to talk about some solutions. We need to be vigilant. There are predators everywhere out there. They can surface in the strangest ways, and they use kindness to get what they want, and that's your children, right? Yes. These traffickers stake out public parking lots, schools, parks, churches. Even they scan your Facebook and Twitter posts to find potential victims. This is a matter of life and death, literally speaking. Most kidnapping victims are unable to escape, and when they are no longer a good revenue source for them, they're disposed of, and many of them meet the end of their life right there. Through deceptive practices, a lot of these victims are whisked off to foreign countries and gone forever. The result is a life of slavery, violence, drugs, and abuse. This is a dead end road. Let's stop this now. That's what we need to do. So,
Amen.
yes, without further ado, I want to now go to Jody Parr. Jody, you are a human trafficking survivor, a very dynamic person, an advocate for putting an end, as I just mentioned, to human trafficking. Why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers, please?
Thank you so much, Stephen. And thank you so much for everybody else that's on here that's fighting this. My name is Jody Parr. I'm a best-selling author of the book Boss, which stands out for Breakout Silent Soldier. And I also am a speaker and a transformation coach as well. I do a lot of spiritual influencing on Facebook, and I also do human trafficking advocacy.
That's Yes, excellent. You have a pretty high profile out there on Facebook. Certainly, we want people to look everybody up here. At, at some point here in the near future, we're going to have contacts scrolling across the bottom of that screen for you to be able to reach out and speak to any one of these panelists that are with us tonight. Now, Jody is actually going to as well be with us tomorrow night on the town hall Get to Know. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to continue this discussion we had, as a matter of fact, Jason Cisneros the other night as well. And you want to go back, you can go to Facebook, but you can also go to YouTube and watch these videos. You can go to our website to find it easy enough and go to E360 TV. Now, we are streaming to Roku. We're streaming to Amazon Fire, Apple and Android TV. If you have a smart TV, you can download that app and watch us on TV. Um, yes. And so, Jason, I had mentioned Jason. Jason does a lot of stuff, but I do really want to go back to Jody first, um, and ask you to maybe tell your story. So you went through some difficult times, Jody. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Thank you so much. So first of all, I have to thank God that I'm here because My story is something that I kept silent for 23 years. I never thought I'd tell a soul. I buried and blocked it. And I'm so thankful for God that I'm able to share it and that He gives me the courage to do so. I was 18 years old and I was very rebellious. I couldn't wait to turn 18 because I was able to leave home at that age. And I had started to live with my aunt and uncle. And they were very lenient. They were not as strict as my parents were. I grew up in a very safe house. And so I didn't realize there was even an evil world out there. I was very naive to that. And so I started working at this place. I was super excited that I even got hired. And I was there for a little bit, and this guy walked in. And he was good looking. And I was a teenager that was insecure. I was a teenager that was mad at my parents. I was a teenager that thought I knew everything. And so when this guy walked in and wanted to talk to me, I was just beyond myself, like excited about it. You know, he was a business guy. He had on a suit. He looked, very well put together. And so he asked for my phone number. I gave him my phone number. And I didn't think he was going to call me. I really didn't. And he ended up calling that very night. And I ended up talking to him for 3 months. And he kept me on the phone for hours. And we talked about everything. I would bare my soul to him. And I trusted him. And that's one thing that I really want people to know is that traffickers will take time for you to trust them. They will be your best friend in the whole entire world. They will promise you the world. I had a vision of being married to him. I had a vision of the happily ever after, meeting his parents. He always told me, when I propose to you, it's going to be so amazing. It's going to be so wonderful. And so I had full trust in him. And it had been about 3 months, and he had told me that he loved me. And he had asked me, if I ask you to marry me, will you say yes? And I told him, absolutely, like, yes, I will definitely say yes. And so he had told me that he was actually coming back into town and that he wanted me to meet his parents, and we were going to go to like a high profile cocktail party. And he said, I want you to look your best. I want you to, wear a little black dress and heels, and, you want to look really nice for my family. And I might have a surprise in it for you, which made me think that I was going to get proposed to. And the day that I was supposed to meet him, the phone rang, and it was him. And he said, I'm so sorry, flights are delayed. I'm not going to be able to pick you up. And I remember my heart kind of dropped a little bit. And he goes, don't worry, my best friend's going to. And he's also a bodyguard. So he's safe. So you're good. And I remember there was a gut feeling that I shouldn't go. And I didn't listen to it. I said to him, I don't know if I really want to go. And he said, well, don't you trust me? And I did. I trusted him so much. And so I said, yeah, I do trust you. And so we planned to meet at this parking lot. And when I got there, there was another guy there instead. The bodyguard was just as tall as he was wide. And he got out and he knew my name. So I felt a little bit of trust there that he knew my name. And the next thing I know, I was blindfolded. And I remember thinking I'm going to get proposed to. I remember thinking that this is it. When the blindfold comes off, I'm going to be at a fancy party. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be all these things that he had promised me from talking to me for 3 months. Except when the blindfold came off, it was a really rundown motel. And I had shared with him that I was a virgin. And I knew right then I was in trouble. And so I started to beg this guy, and he put a gun to my back and told me I better not say a word. And I knew at that moment it was either live or die. It was either I was going in that motel room or he would have shot me. And so, I'm sorry. I was forced into the motel room, and I go into all the details in my book. I'm not going to take up the time to do that here. But I was able to escape twice. And the first time I was able to escape, I was threatened. My family was threatened, and I went back. And that was something that haunted me for the longest time because I went back. And I feel like that is what so many victims feel, is shame and guilt. And like, why did you do that? And why did you listen to this guy? You know, I didn't understand at that time where Trek even went or what happened to him. All I knew was this guy that I was so in love with was gone, and he had disappeared. And I was in this situation that I didn't know how to get out of. And yeah.
So you got away, and then you went back.
Mm-hmm.
You came back again.
Yeah, I went back because he was calling my house where my family lives, and he kept hanging up the phone. And when I answered the phone, he said, "You think I'm playing with you, baby girl? I'm about to kill your whole entire family. I know everything about your family, where they live, every detail you told Trek, I know." And so I went back a second time.
Well, you ended up escaping, and that's the good part, and that's something that doesn't happen very often. Is that you were able to make that break and get back out, and I want to thank you, because I personally can't imagine, but I can tell you that it takes strength to be able to do what you just did and share that story with us.
Mhm.
You know,
Thank you.
Wow. I wanted to stop right there for a moment.
Ooh,
It is a tough story to listen to, huh? Truly
very.
is. Very, very difficult. Um, a lot of the things that we were talking about were coming true in this experience. They threaten your life, your family's life. Um, what did she do? She went back. Um, I have reached out to Jody, and I am planning to do this again to bring the awareness to people's consciousness, because we all know that there's issues these days. Um, we want to raise the awareness so that we can maybe put a stop to it. Is it going to ever just like completely like stop? That's a big dream. It'll stop, yeah, at some point, sure. That's a whole nother
Yeah, and it's so similar to
dimension.
domestic violence. It's so
Yeah,
similar to domestic violence. A lot of
yeah,
people go through that when they're in domestic violence as well. You know, I know a whole lot about that from my past. So I know
right.
exactly. They'll threaten your family just to get you back.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're facing those situations, there's hope. There truly is hope.
Yes, there
Um,
is.
but it takes you stepping up to make a difference. You got to reach out. Call one of these phone numbers if you're having a problem or you know somebody that's having an issue. Um, all right, I'll go ahead and continue. This was a powerful broadcast. I was
It
on
is.
E360 at that time too, back in 2020. Um, we do appreciate, but I'm just going to take this opportunity. There's no total codings. There's no chemo buddies for life stuff tonight because this is really important, and I just want to keep it focused on this part.
And could we
Uh,
do a prayer also at the end before we go? Could we do a prayer for the families and also for the victims and for the survivors before we
ab-
leave?
Absolutely, we will do a prayer at the end. You're so correct, and that's all some of us can do. Is a prayer for anybody that's suffering, and so I'll let you lead that.
Prayer is sufficient. Prayer is sufficient when you want to help the next person, especially those that do not want to tell.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more of the video, and I'm sure that the viewers are as well. And
Yes.
I'm so glad that you were able to perform this in 2020, and I can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah,
And
exactly. We are going to do this again because I'll get Jody Parr back on. I am planning to have Jason Cisneros. She's going to be talking here in a moment. Um, Dr. Sophie Nubani, Bob Choate, Layla Love. I want to have them all back, and that is my intention. So this is kind of like the prelude to, yes, let's raise our awareness. Let's help the next person. Um, yes. All right. So let's do this. Bring them back up here, and I'll continue this video.
Yeah, it really does. And you know, the fact that you're here, that you're sharing your story, I think is so dynamic because it will touch people and let them know that, you know what, things can happen that are pretty bad sometimes to us. It really can. And I kind of learned that from our most painful moments, we can actually use that as a platform to be able to grow and to learn from. Um, and so I'm very proud of you, and I really appreciate the fact that you were to share that story with the panel as well as all of our guests. We really do appreciate that. Very, very touching story.
Absolutely. And I want to make this point. It was in 1990s and it was in Mississippi, because I hear all the time, it doesn't happen around me. It doesn't happen around me. And I'm here to tell you, even in these small towns, I was from a very, very small town. Even in small areas, it happens. It's everywhere. And it's so important that, you know, if you're talking to somebody, vet who they are, because they will take the time to get to know you and they will take the time for you to trust them. If the police would have come to me and said, you know, is this truck guy out to hurt you? I would have never said yes. I lived in torment and in my mindset and in my life for decades because I was so upset that I trusted him. So it's so important, especially in the day of technology, that you're very careful who you're talking to and who you're putting your information out there to. And they blackmail you in so many different ways. So it's so important that you know that to protect yourself and your family.
That is important, and they come across nice, and it can be anybody. Like you said, when you first saw this person, you thought, "Wow, this is somebody I would want to be around and get to know," and they just lead you on until the point where it's too late. And that's a difficult thing because, like I said earlier, I mean, we need to teach our children about not being able to trust people when it gets right down to it, and it's a difficult line. I'm trying to really understand exactly where we draw the line, but what I'd like to do is go to Jason. Jason, I know that human trafficking is super important to you, so much so that you go and rescue young women all over the world and bring them back home. Can you share about how your passion to help young women has evolved?
Yeah, I just sit here and I get pissed listening to what Jody just said. Like it pisses me off so bad because that, you know, we'll get into what I do, but I think that the broader message is that what Jody is saying is so powerful in that you know, she was somebody's child at the time and they weren't paying close attention, right? And so if anything, I just want to extend on what she said, not only about protecting yourself, but protecting your children. I mean, if you know, your child has been already contacted or seen or some way on social media, they have already been targeted. So I'm just going to say, whoever's watching this, just know that your child could be the next Jody, right? Because if you're not paying attention, get into their phones. Don't act like it's their private space. It's not their private space. It's your job to be a parent and to not let that screen babysit, because there's some scumbag that's out there that is grooming your child to trust them, just like Jody said. And so and then, you know, when we get involved on the stuff and you know, the Slave Free project that I work with, it's multifaceted, but the work that we do specifically is that, you know, when somebody like Jody has been taken, we go get them. And there's nothing that gets in the way of that happening. You know, we've got a team. I've worked with multiple teams around the world, and you know, been in some of the darkest, dirtiest parts of the world. But I'm focused in the United States right now because it's the fastest growing crime in our country. And so the last 2 years, we've been out of country twice, but most of the time it's been here. It's been from little towns, just like Jody's. It's been from Las Vegas. It's been from small town St. George, Utah, right? Well, if you guys know the Amy Ellis story, like there's that kind of people don't care. They're grabbing them out of the parents' hands right now in Walmart, right? Like they're because, you know, you have a kind of a colliding of worlds of the economy being crappy, the laws not being as harsh as they should be, you know, the trust, and then Jody, if, you know, even probably right after the first couple of times, if she would have said, if they would have come to her and said, hey, do you want to testify against that guy? She probably still would have said no, right? I can't speak for you. But what happens is the victims are groomed so well that they believe that their captor is their savior. And people need to hear that, right? They need to hear that. They think that it's a bunch of terrible, they're missing their teeth, they're meth addicts, and they're no, it is put together, suited up, handsome, fit, you know, rich, or at least appearing rich. Those are the guys, and then they sell you because that's worth a couple $100,000 to them a year, right? And you just become a part of the victims end up becoming part of their product line, right? Right. And so it's a business, and so yeah, it's a lot of money, and I just wanted to say my blood pressure goes through the roof when I hear things like that, Jody. And I you know, the great thing is you're out here advocating, and everybody that's on the screen is advocating. But I just want to say, and then I'll push it back over to you, Stephen, is that this shit takes action, right? It doesn't just take, you know, oh, listen, oh my gosh, that was a terrible story. Thank you for sharing, Jody. No, Jody, what can I do? Right? What can I do? I've got $5. I've got $10. I've got $1,000. I've got $200,000. I got a car that I don't use that I can sell. I got whatever it is for any of these organizations. If you're passionate about this, and I don't know that not many people that hear it and aren't passionate about it, but get off your ass and get into the process, right? I know we all have our own stuff. We've got COVID, and we've got jobs, and we've got businesses, and we've got kids, and we've got families, and we have church, and we have all of the things that are going on in the world. But at the end of the day, I believe that happiness is buried in service. And there's not very many places out there that have true victims, right? What I mean by that is that the choice has been ripped out of their life. And when you find a group, domestic violence is another one. I heard the same story from my mom. You know, I was kidnapped, and they told my mom, you know, that she needed to come back. My adopted father did come back, or I'm going to kill your entire family, right? So men are in a weird spot. Pastor Rudy, who I serve under CERT Ministries in you know, domestically in the rescues that we do. He is a much more loving man than I am. He's just as violent as I am, but he's much more loving and understanding. I'm not there yet, right? I'm not there enough to really love on the Johns and the perpetrators of this stuff. I'm personally not there. Pastor Rudy is, and I know that there's a space that we have to work in that arena to stop the demand as well. I get it. But I'm just going to be honest. I'm not there yet, because when I hear Jody's story, I just want to beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, you know,
he sounds like my husband.
That's the first thing that does come to someone's mind is that they definitely want to take retribution and hurt those people. Now, you know, obviously we don't want to go to jail for something like that. Although some
worth
people,
it.
They'd straight go to jail over it. I like to try and find a more peaceful answer, but that is part of the situation. Like you said, Jason, we need to deal with the perpetrators as well and get them healed so that they don't continue to do this. And we need to put a stop to it. And that's what we were talking about earlier, bringing an end to this. Part of it is most certainly taking away the demand and the need or want or desire, and having those people look at themselves and say, what am I doing? They just don't realize how they're really scarring people for a lifetime.
And a
By
lot of them have daughters that they would never ever
Yeah.
imagine, that they wouldn't do the same thing to their own daughter, and
Yeah.
yet they do the stuff to other people's daughters. So anyway, I'll shut up now.
Yes, awesome. Now, Dr. Bob, how would you deal with a survivor, and what advice would you be giving to a person that's watching this that might have been gone through a traumatic situation?
Yeah. So I used to be like Jason many years ago, when I would look at including domestic violence, but also regarding a lot of the perps and everything like that. Coming back from my LAPD days, and I was with the LAPD from 1976 to 1981. Prior to that, and 8 years in the Marine Corps, and I was like, I would find a lot of the guys. Now, arresting them was a whole different thing. But I wanted to be that guy that would go out there to be like Superman. In fact, that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. But then I would go up there because I was always been a fighter. I mean, from martial arts background and hand-to-hand combat in the Marine Corps, and I would find and I would take them down really fast. I would find bullies and all these people, and boom, right on top of them. And I realized that every time that I tried to save a woman, whether domestic violence or even stopping the guys from bringing in women into prostitution, escort, that really didn't help the women. And I realized that after I left the LAPD in the 1980s, that I wanted to teach women, number one, how to defend themselves. And I realized it wasn't so much the physical skills that they needed, but more of the mental skills. That was what was really important. So I had to teach them about different crime scenes, crime scene number one versus crime scene number two. So crime scene number one is when you're actually getting attacked or any other aspect of that. But crime scene number two is where they actually will do the major crime, including death. So I had to teach them about that, how to teach them how to be aware of these bad people. And like with Jody, she had a gut feeling, and I tell them, listen to that gut feeling, listen to that gut feeling, but also be aware of your surroundings, because these guys, especially, and as I learned further, going into my area from not only NLP but also into psychology and really understanding the mindset, including some of the bad guys, that they'll use different psychological tricks to get into the mind of somebody, to, like with Jody, developing that trust. You have to understand what are these psychological tricks. And I think that's part of the education that has to be brought forth, teaching people these different things. So I commend Jason. Jason's going out there. He's taking these kind of really bold actions and doing what he's doing. And I that we have to get in there and educate young women, especially because they're the great majority of the people that are being taken. I mean, I was reading some stuff from the Polaris Project, and they talked about like the escort services, and 90-something% are women that are involved in a human trafficking aspect of that. But these women have to be taught what are these guys coming up, like with Jody, the very charismatic, handsome guy in a suit, That's a psychological trick. We have to understand all of it, including I know that even in the speaking industry, because a lot of speakers here and a lot of speakers use a lot of the same tricks. So what I want to bring forth is
Okay. Wow. Very powerful, folks. There's a lot to think about in what we've just been discussing. There truly is. We are running down on time. I wanted the opportunity for Tamika to have some input. I know, I just want to quickly say this. You have to use discernment. Well, when I rely on the Lord, He does give me discernment. Can I still make a mistake? Yes, I could. But we have to be careful because, particularly online, you can be fooled. People aren't willing to be real with you. There's a lot of people out there trying to scam people, period. And we need to be careful of this. So many guests that were coming across the banner on this other show. I want to clarify. I have a new website. Okay, that other website does not work anymore. It is StephenRSmith.org, www.stephenrsmith.org. I don't have the LWN stuff anymore, but this is an example of how a person can make a mistake, and you can lose a phone and not have the access back to your old platforms, and that's all okay because starting over is all part of my story. Absolutely. All right, Tamika, you can speak. You're on mute there.
I want to say thank you. Thank you to the Lord. Thank you, Father God, for this day, for this show, for this moment, for us to be able to come together and give awareness and speak on a topic that's so sensitive globally and touching so many hearts today. I thank you, Lord, for the courage of the organizations and agencies that are stepping out to assist the victims, to encourage and keep protected all the survivors. Father God, we know that prayer is sufficient. And my petition to you today is that you continue to open the pathways to the courage needed all over the world. For those that are afraid to speak, for them to find courage within themselves, to come and look towards the light. And Father God, you are that light. To find a helping hand, a friend, someone that they can confide in and talk to, or a perfect stranger that they cannot take it anymore. Go and speak to someone. Get the help. We have numbers that you can call. If you don't have a phone, write a letter. Send the letter under somebody's door. Paste it on somebody's car. In the name of Jesus, I just ask that everybody take heed and action in this situation. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray that our words are being heard and hearts are being touched and action is being done. Amen.
She got locked up there a little bit, Tamika. We just, temporarily lost you. That's all right. You're back. Thank you very much. We really appreciate everybody that's taking time to come and watch. We've got more coming. I have several more guests. We definitely want to hear from Layla Love, as well as Dr. Sophie and Latina Parks with She Speaks Solutions. This is going to be an ongoing thing. We, for the foundation, we love you. We truly do. We care about you. We want to help raise the awareness with human trafficking. That is one of our causes, absolutely. We want everybody to have a great weekend. It is the weekend, so enjoy yourself. Come back again Mondays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why don't you just close this out here?
Yes, I just want to continue and say again, take heed and take action. Know that your life matters. Your life matters, and we are here to help you. And there's organizations in your community that are here for you as well.
Yes, we're here for you. So reach out to us, info@stephenrsmith.org. If you have a direct comment or question, let us know. Thank you, Tamika. You're so awesome. I really appreciate your sharing this evening. And come back and see us because we got more to come on human trafficking. Tough subject, but by gosh, needs to be addressed. So be well, everybody. Be well. Be blessed. We'll see you all soon.
Yes, we will.